We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. When your sink is in trouble, you could call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers.
It's me, Mario.
And the Luigi.
Are you tired of paying too much for plumbing? Mamma mia! That's why the Super Mario Brothers are here to save Brooklyn.
And the Queens.
And your wallet.
Thank you, Super Mario Bros. It seems like the only thing you haven't drained is my bank account.
Hey, howdy, people of the internet. Whoop, and 4-7-10. Let's go. Woo-hoo. Yep, taking that off. Yeah, I am shirtless because I'm a bit hot, so that's that. Anyway, so as a lot of you will know, there's this thing that people talk about a lot in the gaming community called console wars. It's not something people talk about much these days because we've kind of gone over the whole big thing, but some people do still talk about it, and it basically is sort of describing the major companies that still make game consoles and sort of putting them side by side, comparing their hardware and so forth, and sort of competing to see which one is better, because some people like to swear allegiance to one, some swear allegiance to another, and some like me like to have everything because exclusivity is still a thing, and we want to make sure, and I want to make sure that I can play everything. So, with that in mind, let's talk about two characters that were famously known for kind of starting the console wars, or at least starting the sort of term that people would describe it, and those characters are Mario from Nintendo and Sonic from Sega. So, as we know, Mario has been around a little bit longer than Sonic has. Both originally started as 2D side-scrolling platformers, but I've since gone on to do a lot more different genres with a particular focus on the sort of 2.5D/3D platforming market, with some other stuff too, like racing, sports, and lots of other different types of games. And lots of people have done this sort of thing where they've tried to compare who's better, who's worse, and all that, and this is my take. So, but first, a bit of history. So, as we know, Mario is Nintendo. He started out as an Italian plumber, originally voiced by Charles Martinet, but now voiced by a new person these days. He's best described as a plucky plumber that's quite strong, jumps quite high, and consumes a lot of powers. His origin story is a bit all over the place, although the Superman movie did sort of give us their own take on it. And he's had well over 200 games now, ranging from mostly being platforming games, RPG games, party games, go-karting games, sports games, and many others. And he's made his mark in the video game world, and pretty much everybody knows Mario in and out. Not in that way. And while most games do follow the sort of basic scenario of Mario going to rescue this princess called Princess Peach from the clutches of Bowser or some other force of evil, other games have tended to do some things a little different. One thing I will say about the games is that while the vast majority of them are pretty good, including the sort of spin-offs and so forth that spawn, such as Yoshi's Island, Luigi's Mansion, the Donkey Kong Country games, the Wario games, and whatever else has come out of that, it has sort of suffered the sort of thing of repetition, by which I mean some games will feel very similar to others, and because it kind of relies on the same basic scenario of Peach getting kidnapped by Bowser or some other force of evil, and Mario has to go rescue her, it's not really done many favours to people. But you know, if you like that kind of story, fine, but if you get too used to it, it's kind of not really focusing on originality. And this became apparent during the Nintendo's eras of the Wii and the Wii U, in which most of the games coming to those consoles that were from Mario were very much rinse and repeat of various different things. Fortunately, those days are kind of sort of over, because we have had a few original Mario titles, and of course the feature film as well. So yeah, and I think overall it's a great franchise. There's plenty of stuff you can do in it. It's got plenty of variety. Families love it, children love it, hardcore fans like myself love it, and you can't really go wrong. And even when he is in a game that's really, really bad, he can be forgiven based on the fact that there's just so many games that we can play that have Mario in them. So yeah. Now going to Sonic, which is of course Sega's major character. Now, unlike Mario, who's been exclusively on Nintendo platforms with some exceptions like mobile and PC back in the day, Sonic has always been, to begin with, been exclusive to Sega consoles, and then when Sega stopped doing consoles, he became multi-platform. And with him, he's got, unlike Mario, who has his sort of catchphrases and does the stuff and does the things, with the exception of the feature film. Sonic is a little different in that he does have dialogue. He talks. Well, his earlier self doesn't, but his more recent self does. He talks. He's got a lot of side characters that are for the most part hit or miss. Characters such as Tails, Knuckles, Shadow are great characters, whereas other characters such as Amy, Big the Cat, and a few others are not as good. And also the mad scientist Eggman, who can be hit or miss. And it kind of does have its own little sort of story, lore, and everything in that. But much like with the Mario one, it's similar in that it does kind of have a similar scenario in which Eggman is usually the sort of main villain who's trying to take over the world using his robots and Chaos Emeralds and so forth, and it's up to Sonic and Ham to stop him. But sometimes the force he tries to use to take over the world betrays him. And it's kind of a rinse and repeat in most of the games. Unlike Mario, that's had a sort of consistency in terms of how successful the games have been. The Sonic games have been hit or miss for a long time. Some games are better than others, and then there's some games that you just think just didn't need to exist, and lots of games that could have been worked on a lot better. And overall, most of the games that have been rated very poorly or had bad reviews are no longer on sale on various digital storefronts, and the only way you'll be able to play them is if you went to eBay or somewhere. But I don't think that means that Sonic is bad. No, I don't think he's a bad character at all. Pretty much like Mario, he's very iconic. Unlike Mario, his main focus isn't really on how high he jumps, more about speed. Like, he goes really fast, not quite as fast as the Flash, mind you, but very fast, and yeah, it's basically a case of trying to get the best records you can in each level, while also finding different secrets, rings and everything. So yeah. So now let's get to the question of who would be better out of the two. And honestly, I think they kind of evenly matched in a way. While Sonic is really fast and can jump and can use his quills to basically destroy anything pretty easily, Mario can jump quite high, and he's got a powerful fist that can break things when he eats a mushroom. Both characters do have their own set of power-ups, although Mario is more well known for his power-ups than Sonic is. And every power-up Mario uses, it kind of has a unique feature. So some might throw fireballs or water, others allow him to sort of climb walls that he wouldn't otherwise be able to climb. Others allow him to sort of float and fly. And yeah. And I think in terms of sort of companions, Mario's always had Luigi, that's been player 2. Sonic has had Tails as player 2. And in the times where they've actually used other characters, like for example, Mario's had Yoshi, which he rides on, and Sonic doesn't really have anything he rides on, but he does ride on Tails' plane thing, whatever it's called, or quite simply just has Tails carry him. So yeah. I think in terms of other side characters, for Mario you've got, well, obviously the Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi, Princess Peach and her counterpart Princess Daisy, the Wario Brothers, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and all the different sort of other different characters here and there. And for the most part, most of them feel like they're kind of being clones of one another, but then with the only kind of unique characters as demonstrated in their appearances in Smash Brothers being Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Wario, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong, and everybody else is just either just a clone or not really that worth it. Saying that, I do wish Waluigi does appear in Smash Bros. Not just as an assist trophy, but as a playable character, so that would just be great. As for Sonic, well, you've got Sonic, who's known for his speed, Tails, who's known for flying, Knuckles, who has his fists, and then you've got Sonic's clone, Shadow, who's basically the same as Sonic, but has the ability to use a Chaos Emerald to sort of freeze time and bend it to his will. Rogue, or Rouge the cat, who, the bat, who can fly. The Omega robot that keeps changing from time to time is basically just a robot created by Eggman, but unlike most robots which have a critter inside, he doesn't have a critter. And then you've got Amy Rose, who's basically just a Sonic fangirl. I'm not going to talk about Baby Cat because I don't really like him that much. And yeah, lots of other characters as well. I think if you were to ask me if I could name all the side characters from Mario or Sonic, I think Mario would be the one that I'd be able to do correctly because I've played enough of the big Mario games that use a lot of characters to do that. Whereas Sonic, it's kind of, you'd know them, but you don't really see them. They're kind of background characters, and the only time you actually do play as other Sonic characters besides Sonic himself is kind of in the sort of Sonic Adventure games as well as Sonic Heroes. So yeah. What else to say? So I think overall, they both serve their purpose as well as being mascots. While Mario's had a better time with video games, Sonic has had a better time with music, because most of the music you'll hear in the Sonic games are actually made from different bands, whereas Mario, it does have a composer and so forth, but is otherwise just different and not really poppy or whatever. But you do get some kind of heavy metal / rock music in the sort of Sonic games, which are always quite cool to listen to. So it kind of succeeds in that department there. Most of the games from both franchises are hit or miss, so that's kind of balanced out. But Mario, you tend to get more greater games with him than you would with Sonic. But yeah, you do have to remember that most of the Mario games do kind of follow a sort of repetition in which they kind of rinse and repeat themselves, which is something that Nintendo do tend to do a lot, because they just like the whole idea of familiarity, nostalgia and everything. And in terms of feature films, Mario's had one bad film, one good film. Sonic has had I haven't seen the anime film, so I can't really judge that. But he's had two okay-ish films and a decent sort of mini-series spin-off. And I don't really think there's much else to say other than give their games a go. Mario may be exclusive to Nintendo still, but you can still play him on mobile devices, and if you do like to emulate stuff, there is that as well. Not that I'm gonna show you how to emulate stuff or anything, because to some people that might be illegal, but you know, the internet is what it is. And as for Sonic, well, all those sort of positively reviewed games are still available on digital storefronts, whereas those that are not as positively reviewed, you can probably buy them off eBay or in various different stores that sell second-hand stuff. And I think overall, out of the two, I do kind of prefer. It's hard because I like them both. But I think I'd probably go more leaning towards Sonic, because at least with Sonic, I can play him on any platform I want, and I'm not at risk of sort of being demonetized or anything on this channel if I did ever start earning money from my videos, which I probably won't, but you never know. Whereas with Mario, I like him, I do like him, and I like the nostalgia that he has, but he's restricted to only certain consoles, and there's only so much one person can do to be able to emulate the games, only to then discover that Nintendo, being the company that they are, want to like make money off them. Are kind of harsh and cruel to people that want to make videos about their characters on YouTube, and they just But yeah, that's just my opinion. Leave your opinions in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about Sonic and Mario. I do kind of prefer Sonic's voice actor now, Roger Craig Smith, over the one before him, which I forget the name of, and probably just as well because not many people were that keen on him, I hear. And yeah, check them out. Watch the films, play the video games, read the manga books or any other kind of books they've had. Watch the animes, watch the sort of 90s cartoon vibes that Mario in particular had. And even though Sega don't do consoles anymore, they still make some great games, not just Sonic but other games too. So do check them out. And Nintendo obviously do still make great games as well, but obviously still making consoles, and are therefore therefore just want to keep their games exclusive. They're not like Microsoft or Sony, who are keen for everybody to play their games on PC. No, they like their exclusivity a bit too much. And at the time of this video, they have no intent. At the time of recording this video, I should say, they have no intention of bringing their games over to other platforms, which on the one hand I'm not sure if that's really the best idea, for sustainability and trying to continue on, but it is what it is. And excuse me, if they do eventually decide to go multi-platform, great. It would be a thing that people like, but in the meantime, if you want to get your fix with all the different franchises they do, there's lots of games that are sort of inspired by Mario and other franchises that they own, which you can play on pretty much everywhere. So yeah. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the comment button, hit the subscribe button. Especially subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I do videos every day from 1 PM BST/GMT, depending on what time of year is. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And remember what Sonic says, at the end of most of these stuff, the morals, and no jokes and all that. And as for Mario, maybe don't eat magic mushrooms, because even though he does eat lots of mushrooms, it's a fictional video game. It's not real. You're not gonna suddenly grow if you eat a flower. You're not gonna suddenly grow and get power-ups if you eat a mushroom or a flower or whatever. So yeah, just don't do that. Right, doodles.
That's no good.